We're all here for English 1A. All right, just want to go through a couple things first. Who read the newsletter? Wow, that's a higher percentage than normal. We actually did a trick on the newsletter about 8 months ago, and Karen hid a thing in there on how to get and if you replied, you could enter to win an iTunes gift card, and we had very few people enter that to win, which we kind of get a low rate on it. So the newsletter has been changed. I mean, a couple of years ago, it used to be mailed to everybody, and that was a big expense, both the printing and the mailing. And in the digital age, it's nice to have it everywhere. So we changed it to digital and did PDF. But Karen, who's done the newsletter for the longest time, who's the secretary or the treasurer on the club also, needs to not be under that once a month thumb, and the rest of us too. Like, I write the president's message and I hate it. I mean, I'm not a good writer and I don't like doing it. But the idea too is that by the time we put the newsletter together, and by the time you get it, a lot of the news may be outdated as much as things change. So the website and Facebook are the two places where we can put information up. It can be quickly disseminated to people, and it's more current, and it really fits the plan here, where we've got other people that will collaborate. I've talked to Gail McGovern, who founded MacNexus, and she's going to continue to do the little pieces that she's done in there. We're going to have her do it on the website, so that'll be good. So you shouldn't lose that. We also like people to contribute. You know, if you send us stuff, we'll post it, and the website will become a little more dynamic than it is now, rather than static, and that will kind of serve as your newsletter. But the monthly newsletter as such, I mean, to take this to extreme, let's just pretend like we did a yearly newsletter. Well, a yearly newsletter is not very current. So the monthly newsletter, if you look at it the same way, is not as current. So this way, when things happen. The other thing that's really, really, really active is our Facebook group. Now, I know a lot of people are not enamored with Facebook. I've suggested to one user is, if you don't want to join Facebook, but you want to get this information, I'm trying to get the feed up to the website. I don't know that I'll be able to, but you can join Facebook under a brand new email address that you don't use for anything else. You don't have to give them a lot of information. Just join it so you can use the group and partake in it that way. Because we've been answering a lot of people's questions there and things like that. So we're trying to get the forums back to the website also. They're not there yet. But the forums weren't very active either. We went back and looked at the forums on the old website, and it was months between posts sometimes. So go ahead.
So does the fact that the newsletter is going away, does that mean that MacNexus as an organization is getting smaller, or you're thinking of disbanding it in another 6 months or a year or something like that? MacNexus
next week. Next week. So this is the last class. No, a good question. No, we're a volunteer-run organization, and our membership is hovering a little bit below 600. So we have that. We got a lot of money in the bank. So we're sound in that regard, but we're a volunteer-run organization, and we made the decision as a board, and I a little bit spearheaded it, is when you have limited resources for volunteers, you don't want to overtax the volunteers you have, because otherwise then you burn them out and then they do leave. And if we run out of volunteers, we cease to exist. But that's not even part of what we were looking at. We were just looking at the immediacy of it too, and changing. Like, it was a very wise move. We could have kept sending emails out, and it was costing the club a ton of money to print them and email them and all that. And it was kind of fruitless in this way that we do things these days. Mail, gosh forbid. I'm going to talk about regular mail a little bit today in the presentation too, in my tech presentation. But anyway, it's a MacNexus group. There's a lot of stuff. Al Trivet, who comes to the classes a lot, is really good about posting different stuff. But if you want news, if you go to the website and you scroll on down here, I have links to to 7 different Apple and tech websites. And those are set, so I don't have to do anything to them. they're constantly refreshing. They're going out and pulling the feeds, it's called an RSS feed, from those sites. So you would look at it, let's say we look at this one, generating quick random numbers on your Mac. So I just click on that link and it takes me right to that article, and that article's there. So that's very current. It's 7 different sites. I can link endless sites. Everybody's telling me there's too many sites there already, but you know what? Too much information can't be bad. So anyway, that's it, and different guides and stuff. So we're going to make the website a little more robust. We're going to make it so people will be able to collaborate and contribute to it a little bit easier. And that, I think, to the positive, I think it will be better than the newsletter because it's truly new in that we can stay current with it. Go ahead.
So I have a major problem with the website. Yes, the newsletter may be not weekly news, but they may be monthly news.
Well, it's done. It's gone.
I know.
You can't go forward by looking over your shoulder.
Websites have hundreds or thousands of articles, some of which
not ours,
and some of which have been there for 4 years.
You can look at those news feeds and see as far down as you want. If you decide to click on it, click on it. But otherwise, you forget Google. If you're looking for something in particular, just click Google, and you can look at the dates.
Well, except some things don't have dates associated with it.
Well, the bad websites never put their dates on their articles, but good websites do. But generally speaking, like I believe in imore.com is one of the best websites out there for Mac stuff. imore.com, and they post stuff chronologically. So you constantly, and the Facebook page is another example. It's chronologically by when it was posted. So if you don't like the websites that get that information, don't go to those websites. It's like if you don't like how a restaurant treats you, you don't like the food, don't go to that restaurant. Don't go change the restaurant because it's not going to work. And for sure, don't open your own restaurant because we know that's real bad. A friend of mine had a restaurant, and he used to get these guys coming in, and most people see restaurateurs, they kind of have their own hours and stuff, and he says, yeah, these couple guys came in one time, and they said, when I retire, I want to open a restaurant. And when you retire, you want to open a restaurant. Yeah, because it's so easy. They don't see when they're there chopping food and opening the doors at 6 a.m. and they're till midnight, So this is imore.com, and they've got all kinds of. This is a great site for guides on different things. In fact, anytime I go to Google, anytime I want to search for something, because you guys will pose questions to me that I don't know the answer to, so I'll look like a hero. I'll say, back up iPhone imore.com, and it'll give me a Google search within imore. And our internet is really sluggish today, but you'll notice here, how to back up your iPhone. So I put imore in my search term, and therefore then it gives me direct to imore if I just done the search term. And when you search for Google, just use the words like this. How do I do this? And then usually put the word Mac after it or iPad. You don't want to just say, how do I change file names? And don't put Mac after it because you get a whole bunch of ways to do it on a PC. So. All right, so a little bit of the schedule for today is I'm going to go through a fairly quick keynote to kind of cover a whole bunch of things. In the meantime, be writing down any questions you have. At the end, there's going to be a long question and answer period. I bet we can answer every single question anybody has about pretty much anything tech. It's not just Apple related. A lot of it will revolve around Apple, but there's just so many different things happening in tech these days. And there's a term out there called a Luddite, and the Luddite are the people that don't want to embrace technology. And I say, don't be a Luddite, but here's the actual definition. And of course, here's these old monitors. See, this was the old days when you got a big CRT monitor. And that's actually a pretty funny one, which is the RCA Victor dog with an iPod. So anyway, so don't be a Luddite. Don't be afraid of technology. If you embrace it, yes, it's frustrating at any time, but who here remembers how frustrating it was trying to learn to type on a typewriter? And it would say a typewriter is not the height of technology. So it's not technology you're frustrated with, it's new things. Uh, let's see, anything. The first time you baked a cake, did it work out perfectly? No, it gets a little frustrating. A souffle, probably even worse. I won't even attempt that. So anyway, there's Al that I just gave the plug to about all the good postings on Facebook. So we discussed the newsletter and where to get news these days and things. So thank you for your posting all those links, Al. So I stay up on all this stuff, and then sometimes I miss something, and Al posts, and I'm like, wow, I didn't read that, and I read this stuff voraciously. So anyway, I want to quit. Okay. Unfortunately, part of technology is passwords. Who here has never had a problem with their passwords? Who here has too many passwords? And who uses one password almost everywhere? Okay. Okay, you guys have to stay after class. I'm sure some of you have seen this before. This is my little password thing. I don't publish this anywhere because it's a real good thing. And there's the guy kicking the computer again. But I'm going to show you what I think is the simplest, albeit not the most secure way to do a password, but I guarantee you it's more secure than what you're currently doing. So don't be that. So passwords, smash words. So is it a good idea to use the same password everywhere? Why not?
Once they get it.
If they get it one place, they get it in the other, right? So let me give you a quick example of that. Let's say you sign up for Pizza Hut home delivery. You order your pizza online, and they want your email address because they want to have your email, and that's your username, and they want your password. So I put in kenspencer@gmail.com, and I put in my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 password, okay? I put that in there. And no problem, I get signed up. Well, I can remember that password because you use that everywhere. Well, you know, those delivery drivers at Pizza Hut a lot of times have a lot of extra time on their hands. And they might decide to, not that they can do this, this is just a very simplified way of looking at it, but they go into the database and they say, whoa, kenspencer@gmail.com, this is his password he uses at Pizza Hut. Let's go into Gmail and see if he uses the same password there. And if he does, he's got the keys to the kingdom. Because now he can go into Gmail, he can change my password to what he wants, so he now controls my account, and he can go in there, and if I get a notification from a bank, and I use that same password at the bank, I mean, he's kind of got the keys to everything. So that's the flaw with using the same password everywhere. The most important password is your email. So make sure your email is unique to every other password. But also the bank sites, you want to keep them pretty unique too. And there's a protocol for that. There's some new things out now called two-factor authentication. I'm sure you're getting that on your Apple stuff, whether you really signed up for it or not. I can go into more depth than that when we start doing the Q&A. So let's pretend that your password is MacNexus 1. I'm going to tell you you should use that password, MacNexus 1, everywhere. Even though I just told you you shouldn't, I changed my mind. I'm saying use that same password, because if you use a password, it's your cat, Fluffy1, or the name of your street. Try make it not be a word that's in the dictionary, but have it be your base password everywhere you go, and just add 2 letters in the front of it. So you'll never have to write down MacNexus 1, and please don't use MacNexus. Well, you can use MacNexus 1. It's probably pretty safe because it's not in the phone book or in the dictionary. So if you're going to Apple, so the requirements for Apple for a password are, and for most websites are, 8 characters or more, at least 1 capital letter and 1 lowercase letter, and at least 1 numeral. You can always put a special character if you want, no spaces, none of those things work. And you can't repeat a character more than twice in succession for Apple. Like you couldn't do AAA, BBB, CCC. You could do them 2 in succession. So what I'm saying here is use your base password in the black of MacNexus 1. And then if I'm using anything Apple, whether it be my iCloud password, my iTunes password, anywhere at Apple related, because it's the same username everywhere, I know I'm at Apple, so I don't have to write that down because I know I'm at Apple, so make it be capital A, lowercase p. And I'm going to give you a little tip. The reason I have capital A first is not for your computer, but when you're on your iOS device, you do the capital letter first, and then the keyboard goes down to lowercase automatically. You go through, and then you have to switch it to the number keyboard, so you put the number at the end. Many of you people that try to put a capital letter in the middle or a number, you're constantly having to switch your keyboard back and forth. It's not so bad of a deal when you're on a regular keyboard, but on iOS devices, we do it. So, if I'm at Amazon, capital A, lowercase m, MacNexus 1. Don't change the protocol. Now, the only problem is, what if I'm at American Express? What do I do? What's that? No, don't break the protocol. It's okay if Amazon, and the few of those you'll have, it's not going to be a big deal. No, don't change the protocol, because then you'll have to write it down. You do not change the protocol or you're going to be screwed.
So you're saying Amazon and American Express use the same?
Can use the same one in this case. It's real rare, but you could. Okay. Now, some sites require another level of security. So at the end, the very end, you can put a $sign, a question mark, or an exclamation mark, something like that. Okay.
So I have a question. I have gotten emails from, I don't remember the name of the website, but let's use Apple as an example. Someone has hacked our website and all of our
I'm going to go into that.
And they want you to change
I'm going to go into that.
All right.
That's when you would redo your password. So the only problem is, if you do have to change your password at a website, most websites won't let you use the same password within a year. So pick a number and add another digit at the end. I did that because I have one where I put 9 at the end. My lucky number is 9. I just made it 99 to make it easy. Okay? So I put it at the end, and that satisfied it because I've kept my protocol. And I enter it, it says, oh, it's not right. Then I know, oh, add one more number at the end. Okay? Go ahead.
So, I mean, you could also do it where you have, say, MacNexus 1 and started with capital M, MacNexus 1, and then put those other 2 letters at the end.
And the problem is, yes, you could, but why would you?
I think it's just a different way.
Oh, and you change it different for different websites? No, because then you got to write it down.
No,
Trust me,
okay.
don't overthink it. Do it this way, because the other problem is if you put letters at the end, you have to switch your keyboard
No,
again.
MacNexus 1 and then AP at the
And
end.
that's letters at the end. You have to switch your keyboard again. Why is that any different than doing it this way? Believe it or not, that's the way I started it out. But then I got thinking about the keyboard, and I'm going, less switches of the keyboard, the better. So that's why I put the capital letter in the beginning, and I put what site I'm at in the beginning, because those are letters.
Yes.
Then put the number at the end, because you flip your keyboard at the end to numbers.
Right.
So why make it more complex and hard?
Yeah.
Many sites require you to have a character. So after the 1, I choose the exclamation point right now. Because eventually they're going to ask me.
So if you, and my suggestion is, if you do have a special character at the end, which actually heightens the level of security dramatically, putting it at the end, but use the same one all the time. Because I know if I go to a site and my regular one doesn't work without it, and then I put it in and it works. So the whole idea is, if you keep the protocol, I don't have a password sheet I have to consult. Okay? Now, luckily, your Mac and your iPhones remember things in their keychain, and that will help. So when you do set up a new password somewhere, don't forget to go ahead, and it'll say, do you want me to update your password or put a new password in for you? say okay. Let the keychain do it. It's very safe and secure. It's in a secure enclave on your iOS device and on your Mac. But don't instantly go through and change all your passwords. When you have to create a new password, start with this protocol. Or if a site requires you to change your password, go to the new protocol. If all your passwords are the same everywhere and you want to start out by just changing your email, go do that one first. And again, if you have a passphrase you're already using that you're used to, that's the same password you use everywhere, just modify it with the 2 characters at the beginning. And remember, those 2 characters are based on wherever you are. And Wells Fargo, I made the mistake when I first set up my Wells Fargo. I just said, oh, WF sounds good. I broke the protocol. Now I do WE. It's a lot easier. Because Apple doesn't have 2 words. So sites, Amazon doesn't have 2 words. So use the first 2 letters of the first word. Okay? Keith was talking about this. You get emails, phishing attempt. Oh, actually, I should go back. Any questions on the passwords before I get off of that one? All right.
I was going to say, it seems like your bank or some really important ones, you might modify the end or something a little bit different, just in case somebody gets in.
You have a scale here. Convenience and security. I can make an uncrackable password out here. I'll never remember it. I'll have to write it down. How safe is that? Okay? There's different ways to be insecure. One is writing down your passwords. So if you stick with the protocol and just add a special character at the end and make it consistent, that's going to be good. But remember, and it's important to try and make that little phrase that you use everywhere not be a word that's in the dictionary. Okay? The more complexity you have by adding the capital letter, so if I knew somebody's password was AP MacNexus 1, and I go type it in, it doesn't work. Well, if it was capital A, remember, I don't know which one's a capital letter. That's why I don't put this out anywhere, because if they kind of, but you're really not, I guarantee you it's safer than what you're doing now. Apple will suggest passwords for you, and these big old long ones that are pretty much unhackable stuff, but the problem is you won't remember them. So this will make it so you can remember your password. You just have the passphrase, and oh, I'm at Amazon's website, it means it's AM, capital A, lowercase m, then I'm good. Oh, I might need the exclamation at the end. Okay, I'll put it in and see. So, because the other problem is, many places will lock you out if you have too many password attempts. And they lock you out for a certain amount of time. Bank of America is the hardest. Okay, there's some hope on the horizon. We're talking about technology and new technology. Within 3 years, you won't need your password. You will have a passphrase you'll speak, and it will recognize your voice, and it will let you in. Our voice print, the actual print of our voice, is as unique as your thumbprint. It doesn't matter if you have a cold, if you're congested, your voice print is the same. Your voice may sound different, but your voice print is the same. And you'll have a passphrase that you utter, because they've taken the exact voice print of that passphrase. So mine's going to be open sesame.
Do you have to buy a new computer to get that?
The computers and the phones are capable of it now, good question, but it's the places accepting it. USAA Bank, USAA does it, a couple other places, I think Vanguard does. Some of the other places now, when you do phone or things, they're starting to do that. Excuse me. And it will be good when it does. I make a lot of money in my consulting business helping people like you with your passwords, and I don't like it, okay? So, and if you ever forget your password, and I've worked with you, I have photographic memory, so I might even remember what it is. And I always feel a little bit conflicted on that, because people go, hey, Ken, do you remember my password? I'm like, God, should I tell them? But I mean, but they're stuck, right? Actually, and passwords brings up another thing. On our iOS devices, actually on our Mac sometimes too, Apple is stupid. They're missing the boat. People that did the 10.3 update on their phone, which is a great update for your phone, but you go through the whole update process, And when you want to get back into your phone, well, they ask you your passcode, but they make you put in your Apple ID password. Apple, and I get a lot of calls, hey, look, you've got to put it in. If it's wrong, your phone's bricked, okay? It's no longer good right then. You can't do anything about it. You have to go through Apple. It's a long process. Why doesn't Apple get smart and say, before you start that process, please enter your Apple ID password? Because then you'll have it. If you don't have it, you don't start the process. The problem is, if you go through the process at the end, it asks you to sign in. Sorry, don't know it. That's it. But if you use the protocol, you know exactly what it is. I use that protocol. I'm not telling you what my phrase is or my numbers. I said 9. All right, so the other thing that comes up, like he said, you get these emails saying, oh my God, security, we had a security breach and you need to log into your account so we can reset your security preferences for you. That's a lie, that's a scam. Never, ever, ever click on any link in an email telling you to go to a website. If it's from your bank, if it's from Apple, if it's from iCloud, don't click on it. Go to that site the way you would normally go. If it's Wells Fargo, go to wellsfargo.com. Don't click on the link. I can make an email look exactly like it. I can also make this fake website look exactly like their website. So when you click on it, it goes through and you think you're at the website and it asks you for your information. Okay? So it's fake. Go directly the way you normally would. Now, the other thing, actually, that brings up another one I just heard of recently. One of the podcasts I listened to, actually, the guy from imar.com, Renee Ritchie. And he uses Apple Pay everywhere, and Apple Pay is very safe and very secure. I use my watch and just ring it up like that. The new chipped cards are very safe and very secure because they don't send your card number over the airwaves. They actually send a unique one-time use number over the airwaves. But your ATM card, be careful. Your ATM card is vulnerable. Please don't use it as a gas. So if your credit card gets compromised, you're covered by federal laws. If your ATM card gets compromised, they don't have to cover you. And the other thing is they have access to your full bank account. So the trick is, well, these things are called skimmers. The skimmers these days are so small, you put them in and you don't even see them overlaying the machine. You go in, and when you do this, it reads your card. Okay? Your card number, for instance, and other information. And then there's a minuscule little camera. Remember, they make cameras that fit in the top of pins these days and things like that. That little camera reads what you type in for your PIN number. So if you have to use an ATM card anywhere outside, inside will usually be fine, but be careful. But let's say out at the gas pump, if you use an ATM card, please use a credit card. Don't use an ATM card, plus you get rewards. But the first time you put it in, put in a wrong PIN number. And if it says, sorry, that's not your right PIN number, then put in the right PIN number. Because if it's one of these skimmers, when you put it in, it reads your fingers and it will accept it, but then it won't go through, but then you do it again. But that way it's recording the wrong number. Be really, really, really careful, okay?
So, if you go to an ATM machine and you want to get money outside of the bank,
look for a skimmer, you're probably okay, and the best part is that's under camera survey, there's cameras there, so, your bank's probably going to cover you, especially if it's their ATM. I'm just giving you that as a warning. I never, ever use a debit card anywhere. Keith, and then back there.
This scenario you put up there where you're getting a spam message, that wasn't what I was asking about.
Okay.
You get a message from, wherever it is, Wells Fargo Bank, but that's not it, but they said, our security's been compromised. We have sent you an email we created a new password for you. We sent you an email with this phony password. Go to our website, enter this new password that we sent you in the email, and then change it to something else different than what you had before. do that in order to be able to go back into this organization. So this gets around this quick.
So this organization is not a big organization, I would bet,
I don't remember what it was.
because your bank wouldn't do that.
No, it wasn't the bank.
No, but that's what I'm saying is, that's why I say it's a small organization, because people are trained or should be trained to never click directly and do that. Now, if you go to a website and your address is, or your password is wrong, you can request them to send you an email to reset the password, and that is the only time you would ever click on one like that. Never, if it's unsolicited, do not click on it. Do not. If it's unsolicited, if it just comes to the mail and you weren't resetting your password somewhere, don't click on it.
I understand that, but this was a different scenario. Maybe I'm not.
Well, and it just, but you're best to go directly to the website, and it might tell you there. Because you know the website, if you type in the website the way you normally do, it will take you to the real website. If you click on a link, it could take you anywhere. Okay, this is the other one. We're getting less of these now, but they pop up on your computer. They say your computer's been compromised. You're going to ruin the whole internet. You better go ahead and fix it. And you call this number, and what they're really trying to do is harvest your credit card. So don't do it. They're playing on your...
That's incorrect.
No, that's a great number. It gets somebody on the other line who wants to take your money.
But I mean, that's not Apple support.
Not at all. And you get these calls from them saying, I'm calling from your iCloud security and things like that. Apple never calls you unsolicited. The IRS never calls you unsolicited. They have other ways of reaching out, trust me. And actually, that's a new thing happening in the IRS is they're opening it up to private. There are 10 private collection agencies that they're opening it up to. So you can, in fact, get a legitimate call from a collector, but you would ask always to call them back and you want supporting information. You know, a lot of this information that I get from I highly recommend go to clark.com. That's Clark Howard, who used to have a radio show here, but it's just no longer in Sacramento. I listen to his podcast religiously. He's a little anti-Apple because he's more frugal than that, but his wife has one. He's great for lots of credit stuff, travel stuff. I mean, it's just, and I've listened to him for years now, and yeah, some things get repeated, but on there it's amazing. And actually, he really advocates, if you're worried about security on your ID and stuff, get a credit freeze. Freeze your credit. It's the best thing I ever did. I sleep very well at night. Back here first, and then you.
You said you're talking about your ATM card. Do you mean a debit card?
Yeah.
Okay, and why did you say don't use a debit card?
Because your debit card, first of all, by law, you don't have the same protection as you do with a credit card. And if they get into that, they're going directly into your account. If your credit card gets compromised, yeah, they can make some charges, but you have some time to take care of that. And secondly, then you've got some fight because you do have some protections by law. And all of this changes if you're using a business account for your debit card or a business credit card. A business credit card by law does not have to have the same consumer protections that credit cards do. It's up to the bank issuer, and then as far as your protection, a business checking account, here's the weird thing. A personal checking account has protections by law. They have to prove that you were negligent. A business account by law, now most institutions will still help you because they pretend like they want your business. But the business checking account, you have to prove you weren't negligent. So there's a different level of.
We're working on staying on debt, so we don't want to use credit.
So do you listen to Dave Ramsey?
No, yes, we did.
Yeah, he's a little bit extreme. So you can get prepaid credit cards where you're not able to use over that, or a secured card, but the protections and the rewards. But yeah, I mean I agree completely, but it depends on your scenario. But just remember, you're at risk on the debit card. Okay. Up here and then you.
Clark.com, is it C-L-A-R-K?
Correct. No E at the end. So his Clark Howard is named, the man with two first names.
What do you mean freeze your credit?
I'm sorry?
What do you mean by freeze your credit?
So if you go to Clark.com and look at his credit freeze guide, there's three main credit bureaus: Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. If your Social Security gets, if somebody gets your Social Security number, they can go sign up for a Target card for you or a Sears card. No, get the Sears cards quick because they won't be around much longer. But anyway, if you freeze your credit though, so I'll give you an example. I actually, when I got the new car, I financed part of it, and I had my credit frozen. So I had to thaw my credit for a temporary time, and then they were able to do the credit inquiries, and then my credit froze back up. So what that means is no one, I could give you my Social Security number, and you could not get credit anywhere because it's locked.
How do you freeze it?
Go to Clark.com, do a Clark, he's got a thing on there, a guide to do it. You have to freeze all three bureaus. If you're over 65, it's free. If you've been a victim of identity theft, it's free. Otherwise, in California, it's $10 per bureau to freeze it, which is stupid. And if you need to thaw it, it's $10 per bureau also. So, but
You want to thought if you're buying a vehicle or a house?
you have to, for them to do a credit inquiry.
Okay.
So you can thaw it for a length of time, or you can authorize certain people. If you're buying a vehicle or a house, it's every time you get an inquiry, it's a hard hit against your credit, but it only temporarily lowers your score. But what you do is you can, if you get a bunch of them within 30-day period, it kind of counts as one. So you can shop your mortgage like you should, and you also should shop your car loans like you should too, because there's multiple ones out there. So that only kind of counts as one hit. But then you let it, you can set a time for it to thaw back, or to unthaw, I guess, to freeze again. Unthaw? Yeah, it would be freeze, I guess. And he gives a whole scenario on there. I sleep very well at night because I don't do it. And the other thing is, I highly recommend using Credit Karma. It's an app on your phone. It's a great site. Credit, Karma. And you can see how your credit's doing, and it'll give you different things. But sign up for Credit Karma before you freeze your credit, because if your credit's frozen, you'll have to thaw it to let Credit Karma see. Credit Karma sees two of the bureaus. But if you let Credit Karma, if anybody who currently has access to your credit reports, once you freeze it, they still have access because they had it before it was frozen. Or like, for instance, when I financed the car, the bank that I financed it with can continually check my credit because they were allowed in while it was thawed. Okay, and the whole credit scoring thing is changing in the next year.
What does Credit Karma do again?
Credit Karma, it gives you a pretty close to what your credit score is, but the nice thing is it will give, and it's totally free, it will give you certain things that are affecting your credit positively or negatively and give you some guidance. And then how it makes its money as a free app is it'll show on there, you know, this card might be really good for you, or this home loan is this amount. And I hardly ever get emails from them, but it's within the app, it shows that. But again, do it before you would freeze your credit. All right, so newest technology thing, I just got my approval the other day, and I live in Lincoln, so insurance in Sacramento. Mailboxes are getting broken into all the time. Anybody had that trouble in where they're living? Yeah, usually when it's the cluster mailboxes in condos, apartments, things like that, or in newer homes where they require the whole block to have a cluster mailbox, they're getting broken into, and you're going, man, I didn't get that credit card bill, for instance, or the bill on my mortgage, things like that. This is a new service. It's completely free from, believe it or not, our United States Postal Service, who is actually making some pretty big technology improvements. Tracking is much better now with packages. You can go in and manage those packages and things. But this is called informed delivery. For many years, the Postal Service has been taking a picture of every piece of mail as it goes through their scanning machines. Not the inside, but the outside. Every piece of mail, including that junk stuff. So you can go to USPS, put your zip code in, it'll tell you if it's available for you, and you can do informed delivery. Mine just got approved yesterday, so I don't have any scanned ones yet, or I would show you what it is. But if you go to the website, you can see it. It will show you a picture of the envelope. So you'll be able to see if, it was 3 days ago my mortgage came and it wasn't in my mailbox. So you'll be able to see that so you can follow up on it. But this is also very beneficial if you're traveling. You can see if you have to have somebody go check your mail for you or get it out of your box or things like that. So
the other day, I didn't get any mail.
okay, you should have informed delivery. I'm not the Postal Service, so you're going to have to ask them.
I was supposed to get mail, but I didn't get my regular mail. So I just wrote a letter to USPS on their contact us, and they looked into it, and I got a letter back saying that the person was sick or something and didn't deliver the mail. So if you have this service here of informed delivery, would it tell you that?
It would be the mail. It won't tell you what came into your box because that's how they're taking the picture. They're taking the picture at the post office the day it's being dispatched to you. So in that case, yours is a specific scenario. It will take pictures of the mail or the mail that's supposed to be coming to your post office box or your mail box, I should say.
So that you'll know you were supposed to get that, but you didn't. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That does not include hopefully any junk mail.
I'm not sure, but I don't know. It's not going to, we'll see. But it's simple. Delete it. And I think it stays in their server. You go view it and you can take it off. I just started out. It wasn't available in my zip code until they informed me 2 days ago.
Is there expense associated with that?
Nothing. It's free. So it's convenient. Use it if you want. I'm all about free stuff. You know me.
Oh, yeah.
I'm frugal, Ken. No, I'm cheap. Don't forget, back up your stuff. Yes, we have some of our stuff on iCloud, but iCloud is not a true backup. But still make sure you have a time machine backup. I get that call. I had 2 calls last week, bad hard drives. One had a time machine backup. I had them up and running in a couple hours. The other one, sorry, data's gone. I tried. Oh, no, I take that back. One of them, we were able to send the hard drive over to a place. It's $1,200 if they want the data off the drive. That person decided their data wasn't that important. Go ahead.
So if you don't use a time machine and you prefer to use
Don't even talk to me if you don't use one.
I have one, but I'm saying.
Then why don't you use it?
I do.
Then
But if you use Dropbox as.
No, it's not a backup. Use time machine. God, it's use time machine. All right. Oh,
Just briefly, can you tell us at the novice level, how do we update our time machine? I ran into that problem with it. I don't know how to do it.
there's no update involved.
Oh,
You plug it in,
there's something that came over with my time machine, you said.
your time capsule.
Oh.
That was a
what's the
firmware
difference?
update to your airport.
Oh, how do we know where to find that?
Call Ken.
Oh, okay.
Or Google it.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So, this is a kind of funny one, a dial one like that. Remember the early cell phones? So, that one in the upper right from, what was it, Michael Douglas? No, but Douglas on Wall Street, whatever. Kirk Douglas' son, Michael Douglas. Yeah, that one show, I mean, he had the brick phone on there and stuff like that.
Oh, they have on ET too.
Okay. Well, they had that funny finger thing too. I guess that was to dial that phone.
That was pretty.
And actually, we're old enough to know what dialing a phone really means. Or record or listening to a phone answering machine. Okay, so technology all along the way has incremental things that make it better and easier. Once we got a home answering machine, we never had to be tied to our home because we're expecting a call from so-and-so and we can't go out. And you're sitting there waiting and they never call and then you've ruined a whole evening, right? Because you used to have to go outside to do things, right? Well, that's kind of the way MTV changed that way. We used to have to be home at a certain time to watch Ed Sullivan, right? Well, with DVRs, we do what's called time shifting, where you can now watch your TV at a different time, or you can record the show. And to me, the best part about that is the commercial skip. So, and now there's also what's called place shifting, which means I can take and I can record something and then send it to my iPad and take it with me on a trip, and I can watch what was on my recordings then. A lot of your newer DVRs will do that. The TiVos, the X1s, the DirecTVs, the Romeo, or the Genie, and not the Hoover, Hopper. All right, so that's technology and phones. And 10 years ago, January 9th, my birthday, they introduced the original iPhone. That's a picture of the original iPhone. And what's amazing is there were no extra pages. Those were all the apps that were there in the original iPhone. But what's amazing is that iPhone and this iPhone have a similarity 10 years later for the stuff it does tremendously. This one does a lot more. It does it a lot faster, and especially because of apps. But we didn't have apps back then. We only had the apps that Apple built in. And next month is when it first went on sale. So this is the biggest technology leap in a century. And anybody here not have a smartphone? Okay. Do you have an iPad? And you have a Mac?
What?
You have a Mac?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I'm just curious. So just don't feel the need, or your Mac does what you need to do?
No.
Okay. Who was in that boat a couple years ago? Who didn't think they needed a smartphone or an iPad? And tell me now that you've got it, what you think.
I don't know how to live without it. Yeah.
And don't think of it as it's a leash. I mean, nobody wants an electronic leash. You probably have a regular, they call them feature phones, a flip phone right now. You have a cell phone? So do you ever think you could have lived without that? Really? What about when you're in trouble? You're gonna go use a pay. If your car breaks down, are you gonna go find a payphone? Exactly. So and I'm trying to get it down to the granular sense on that. In that case, that's worth its weight in gold. To be able to be somewhere and say, is this thing available at so-and-so? Or, my gosh, this restaurant is closed. Can I go find another restaurant nearby and stuff? Because again, by not having phone booths, we don't have yellow pages anymore. So, and it doesn't have to be an iPhone. It can be the iPad and stuff. But I just, I think that most people that have gone down that road would say they can't live without it. And
I find it invaluable as a dictionary. You know, what does this mean, or can you help me find this, or what is?
Yeah, to me, it's the information. I mean, all the information in the world, just like you find on your computer, is in your hand. And man, it's powerful, and it wins a lot of bets. Go ahead.
GPS.
Yeah, the GPS for directions. Oh my gosh, because do you have GPS in your car?
No.
Or do you have a GPS device? Do you stay at home? You use maps?
Apps?
Maps.
Maps.
How do you get somewhere if you haven't been there before?
I usually go with somebody.
My mom says she doesn't want to.
So later in my presentation, you're going to like even better. And I can say is, don't be afraid of embracing it. And it may seem intimidating, but it's really not. And the more you use it, the easier it gets. Quick question?
Yeah. So I'm completely attached to my phone, but I wear it all the time. Now, is it dangerous to have it on you? Is there something that
You need to stop reading those websites.
I mean,
No, let me give you an example of this. People are afraid to live under power lines, right?
Yeah.
Because of electromagnetic radiation, which is simply magnetism, is all it is, right? But those are the same people that wear magnetic bracelets because they say they're healthy.
so there's no I mean, they say don't hold
No, and I mean, it's fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Please, when you get these things that tell you you've been compromised, don't you're afraid of. Don't be afraid of it. No, believe me, it wouldn't be where it is if it was. You gotta understand, you're getting bombarded by so much more than that constantly that it's not. Anybody watch Better Call Saul, the TV show? So the foil thing that the guy lives in and stuff, and it's pretty funny. There are people that have that sensitivity, but those people with that sensitivity, I mean,
Just use the speakerphone.
well, no, because it's got a magnet. He's afraid of everything on a magnet. Oh, yeah, so you could use a headset or something like that, but no, you don't. It's actually they use radiation to cure cancer. Why would it induce cancer?
I don't know, I'm just asking because there are a lot of things.
No, if you read the other side, it's not. It's people. It's okay. It's called clickbait. You ever get those websites where you go to it says, "Oh, you should see this celebrity now. You won't believe number 4," and you keep going through. They're harvesting your eyeballs, so they're getting dollars off of ads. That's all this stuff is. It's I don't want to say journalists. It's writers that are making money by you clicking through, and they're going to say anything they want. I mean, you could take it all to the whole fake news thing. It's been there for a long time. It's the new National Enquirer. So don't believe it. So the newest thing in technology, oh man, I left them in the car. I meant to bring them in. But these AirPods. AirPods are fantastic. Anybody else have them yet?
No, not yet.
Yeah, aren't they? They're just, and I mean, I always used my headset. So I tell you, I listen to ClarkHoward.com or Clark Howard's podcast all the time. Well, I get out of my car, it's listening, I've got it in my car playing through Bluetooth. I open up the little AirPod, I stick it in my ear, and then I go into Home Depot or go wherever I am, and I continue to listen to the podcast right off of my phone. And it's wonderful. I've got it with me all the time. And you can also drive with AirPods, but remember, by law, we can only have one earbud in at a time. Who are you looking for, Jim?
Yeah.
Oh,
He found you.
That's pretty fast.
that's very fast.
So AirPods are fantastic. They're $159. An AirPod itself has a battery in it. It's good for up to 5 hours. If I put one in one ear, it's mono, and it'll last for 5 hours. If I put them in both ears, it becomes stereo automatically. And then the little case it's in has a battery in it. So I get a total of 24 hours of listening time, and the cable in the bottom of it to charge it is my good old lightning connector that I use to charge my phone. So they're fantastic. They're in Apple can't keep enough of them in stock. If you order them right now, you won't get them until June.
Are they identical? Is there a right and a left?
There is a right and left because they're ergonomically shaped. They do have a microphone in them, so if I have the right one in, I can make and receive phone calls easily. I can double tap it to summon Siri. If I put the left one in my left ear and kick this one out, it now works at it. If you use the ones that came with your iPhone, you simply have the one headset and it's got a little microphone on it. That's the right one. And you can drive with one headset in.
I just finished a flight from Buenos Aires to Texas, and they said, so sorry, we're out of the little earphones. Can you use that?
Well, first of all, take your own earphones.
I will now.
No, this won't work on their stuff.
It doesn't.
It'll work on your device. That's why when I'm taking a long flight, I take my iPad and I download from Amazon Prime or now from Netflix. You can download movies in it. And and there's a little seat in front of me that's now much closer than it used to be, the seat in front of you. American Airlines just cut theirs down. But there's the little tray table there. So the tray table's here. I stick this right up on the tray table, right up to where the little clip is. I leave it clipped, and this just hangs there, and I plug in my headset. What I use for travel is I use a pair of noise-canceling headsets. They're from Sony. They were about $70. They're Bluetooth, but they're also wired, so when the battery goes on Bluetooth, and they're wonderful. And you got to remember, headsets are also, even if you're not using them to listen, they can be beneficial when you're traveling to have the other person in the next seat not bother you.
So what is the difference between, I know they don't have a cord.
That's the
but
difference.
I mean, that is the only difference, right?
It has a battery.
Yeah, they have a battery. You take them anywhere, they stay charged. I mean, yeah, it's
Just use
they-
the other one, it's the same, gives you the same.
okay. Don't get them. All right, so this is probably the most computer you guys own. Because it has a GPS, it's got an accelerometer in it, and it's always with you. It's the best camera you own, or the best camera in the world if it's the only camera you have with you. And it also makes phone calls. But this is a feature that's been around for a while, and I used this when I was in China, and I used it when I was in Colombia. And it's in the Google Translate app. It used to be a thing called WordLens, but I want to show you how this works. So there's in Russian, up on the wall is a sign, and you do the app, and you have it look at the sign, and it instantly translates it for you right in there, in Google Translate. Now, to me, that's the kind of thing, especially when traveling, that makes this completely valuable. The other thing is when you are traveling, it used to be a thing with your data and stuff. You can download, there's up to 80 languages that are supported in Google Translate with voice translation and everything, where you can speak it or it'll speak it back to somebody. Those are downloadable now, so you don't have to use any data. Also, Google Maps are downloadable now, so you don't have to pay for data charges or be on Wi-Fi when you're there. It downloads it to the phone. So that's Google Translate is the app. It's one of the very first apps that came out on the iPhone. This part of it was only acquired like 3 years ago.
I assume this is not free.
You assume wrong.
Okay,
It's Google, it's free.
There's so many free apps.
But there's free apps and then there's good free apps. So, I'm going to talk briefly about Siri. To me, that's one of the newest things in technology, not just Siri, but speech recognition. I can have Siri do virtually anything I want and do it hands-free. And with the new laws about driving, where you can tap your phone and that's about it, you can't swipe, you can't do anything else without getting a ticket. Of course, we all see the people violating this and you get pissed, but believe me, if you do it, you're the one that's going to get the ticket. So, just because you know me is why. Siri is phenomenal, and it does so many things. Google has their own translation, Windows now has theirs, Amazon, Echo, and things like that. But embrace this and start to use it, and you'll find that it's an on-ramp to your technology. And the best part is if you think about your phone, it's so darn small to type on. I have some Siri classes that I've recorded. They're on the website. I'm not going to go deep into Siri. All I want to say is just make sure you use it. I'm going to show you briefly how it works, because this is, to me, the technology in this is incredible. You fire up Siri, and you say something into the microphone, and that gets sent up to Apple's big server in Maiden, North Carolina, to a supercomputer. So not only is the phone very powerful and can do tremendous things on its own, it leverages the strength of the whole world. And actually, Siri is available now on your Mac also with Sierra, so it does the same way. You speak into it and you say, give me directions to Sacramento International Airport. It takes that recording and sends it to the cloud. Then it sends it back to your device and either writes the text if you're doing it, or will fire up your GPS and give you directions to where you're going. That is huge, and it happens so quickly that it's amazing. Anybody here not using Siri? Anybody not using Siri and making it work? Anybody having problems with Siri?
Sometimes my phone says, Siri is not available.
Yeah, well, you know, you take a vacation. You know, she works hard. So actually, it's what happens is Siri, and we just showed you in this the complexity of this. First, the phone has to record it, and by the way, it works in a noisy environment fantastically. It's amazing because your phone has 2 microphones on it. Your phone has a microphone right here next to the camera, and that listens to the ambient noise. It could be the loud crowd noise out there. And you also have a microphone down here on your phone. And when you're on a phone call or when you're using Siri or anything else, what it does is both microphones hear the ambient noise, but only one microphone hears your voice. So it knows to isolate your voice. That's a noise canceling microphone. So it's pretty amazing, but it works in a thing there. But so the phone has to be working and has to have an internet connection. That's the key. Because, and now in the future it won't need that, but remember it needs to communicate up to there. So without, it won't record it unless it knows it can get that connection. Now that connection could be broken in numerous places along the way. If you're at home on your Wi-Fi, you might be able to see your router, but your router might not be connected to the internet. You know, things like that. There's too many places in there it can make it. It's not usually a fault with them, it's a fault with the connectivity. So if that's an issue, wait until you get to a little better area. If you're on Wi-Fi, turn Wi-Fi off and see if it'll work on cellular. And remember, it does use a slight amount of data, so if you're overseas or something and you don't have a data plan, it will only work when you're on Wi-Fi. Or you're going to get a bunch of extortion charges. Doug Kitlaus is who did it. He actually wanted to have a girl, and he wanted to name Siri, the girl Siri, but he had a boy, so he decided to name the company Siri. So, take a picture of this with your iPhone. These are great guides and information on Siri. Apple doesn't leave a lot of breadcrumbs on how to use different things, but these are fantastic for learning more stuff about Siri. So just if you take a picture of them with your iPhone, then you can have these all the time. If you still need it up longer, let me know. Okay, go ahead. I'll give you a little tip if you have a newer phone. Watch this. My phone is blank, right? It's dark. Everybody see it? So if you have a 6S or newer, when you move the phone, it becomes active. And all I have to do is slide my finger from left to right, and my camera's on. From right to left, excuse me. So if you have a 6S phone, if it's on your lock screen, and you bring it up, it becomes bright. Well, you have to wait till it's there. Swipe from right to left, and you're in your camera. Because that little squirrel's not going to do those funny things while I'm just waiting for you to get your camera out. Do you have a 6S? Does it brighten?
Yeah.
No, you got to do it while it's still bright. Go ahead.
Reading the word user guide, I'd like to regress a little bit to these AirPods. That little instruction book that came with it with the little grayed out was totally unreadable to me.
Uh-huh.
Why?
So, well, because it's a small box for Apple to put it in, but Apple thinks that you should have gray letters on a white background, very light gray, so you can't read it. Okay. Apple used to care about the user experience. Now it's form over function instead of function over form. So a little trick is you can turn your camera on and zoom in. That helps a lot. The serial number's in the bottom. But you can go into accessibility on your phone and activate a thing called Zoom, where you double tap your home button 3 times and it zooms, and it's good for reading menus. You want me to show you how to do that?
Yeah. No.
Nobody has trouble looking? It's actually
I just was so mystified why they would do that.
well, that's where I would have go to imore.com and look for AirPods. They have a huge guide because they had them early, and they have a great guide on it. Serenity Caldwell did a wonderful job. Well, you actually don't need to do anything. There's no user manual because it's not needed. But if you went to apple.com/AirPods, they have a lot of info there. But there's very little needed. But I know, I don't, trust me, I don't agree with it. But it's Apple needs to be green. They can't print big things, because then they'll get in trouble.
So what happens to the email that I sent them with a very polite comment about it?
I'm sure they printed it out on paper and then with really light colored print and posted it on their message board.
You don't know.
Who the hell knows? Sometimes that stuff goes in, it's constructive, but I had a great one, but anyway, you can't change. It's like my friend tried to convince this one culture that they wanted tortillas, and it wasn't.
Tim, tell us about that Zoom.
I'm getting there. I'm going to show you. Thank you. So I'm going to show on my computer here. Oh, I'm off. I'm on Wi-Fi. Come on. I'm the same Wi-Fi. No. Yeah, I set it up. Okay.
Oh, you said it.
Yeah. Thank you, though. All right. So sometimes this bogs down, but where you go to this is you go to settings, the gray gear, and we go down to accessibility. And accessibility, speaking of technology, the technology built into this device helps, yeah, kind of loud. It helps both hearing impaired and sight impaired people with a lot of different things. Those of you who went to the general meeting we had where the, we went to the general meeting where we had the gentleman that was blind work his phone quicker and better than I can. And it's just amazing the stuff that's built in. And Apple, just like building manuals you can't read, they don't talk and tout their accessibility very much either. But I'm going to go into accessibility. It's under general. I'm getting there. It's up on the screen. So general, settings, general, accessibility, settings, general. Just grab your phone. Okay, accessibility. And then you go to Zoom. See the second one, Zoom? If you tap Zoom, allow the first one there, which is double tap 3. Oh, that, you know what? Hold on. That's not the one you want. Don't turn that one on. Trust me. That's not the one I want. Magnifier is the one you want. Zoom will get you all screwed up and your screen will be big and you go, how can I read it? So make sure Zoom is off, okay? I have mine on for demo purposes. Go down to magnifier and turn magnifier on, and I'm going to show you how it works. So I have a little item right here on here. So here's kind of what it looks like from my camera, right? So I'm going to double tap or triple tap. Take that back. I'm going to triple tap my home button. And now I get this thing where I can go in here. I can zoom in even farther. I can turn the light on. And what's even better is, let's say I want to look at that later. I tap the button and it freezes it as a photo, and then I can even zoom the photo in farther. So how I activate Zoom is anywhere my phone's awake. Once I've turned it on, magnifier, I go to the home button and I triple click it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And you get this, which looks suspiciously like your camera.
Triple click it 3 times means you click it 9 times.
No.
Is that what you meant?
Single click, no. Damn you. Single click it 3 times. No, triple click it 3 times divided by 3. You're going to do it 3 times, but we want to do it quick. Quick, quick, quick. You got to do them quick in succession. If you do it twice, it'll do it. That's these Germans take you so literal, you know. But he caught me. So to the cubed root of the square root of triple click 3 times. There we go. So just and then that comes up. And the nice thing is you see the little icon for the light there. If it was a menu or something, you can do the light. But the nice thing is you can get it where you want because it's kind of hard. You're moving your hand around. If you hit the little button right here, the only button that's right here. No, it's not actually a picture. It freezes it and focuses it, and then I can even zoom that in. Okay?
And you're zooming it in
by just doing the regular pinch to zoom, they call it, the little squeeze. See? So then, my camera's not back up to do this. You just tap the screen, and then you untap this button, and now it's live again. So, okay? So
you just-
again, this thing in your pocket is powerful. Go ahead.
You hit, or I get the magnifier and you hit your home button down here 3 times?
Yeah, well, get out of that screen. Hit the home button to get to the home screen first, one time. And now try triple clicking. If you have an older phone, it may not do it. Did it do it?
It just brings back up,
Let's see, turn it. No, that you double click to get that. Anyway, play with it. We'll check it at the break. But that was 2 clicks to get to that screen.
Then you go back there and turn the magnifier off.
No, so what you do is, you've turned on, Leslie, your flashlight's on, by the way. Or your light.
No, it's the.
So magnifier is turned on all the time. It's only activated when you triple click. So you don't have to go back and turn it off. And the way to get out of it is just hit your home button and you're out of it. So that was a good question.
I was trying to figure out what these little icons.
Yeah, the flash, the lightning flash is your flash to turn the light on, and it's on now. Because if in a low light situation, it'll do it. It'll you may need it. So
And I don't know how to turn it off.
just go back into it. Actually, anytime your light is on, you guys, by the way, another quick thing here, little trick. So, by the way, so the flashlight app, so do you know how to get into the flashlight app? You come outside the bezel and you swipe up, and you press and hold now, and you can get different levels of brightness if you have a 6S or newer.
I'm swiping up nothing happens.
Well, a good carpenter doesn't blame his hammer. Just work on it. You have to be off the screen, on the bezel, and swipe up. You have to be off the screen on the bezel.
Okay. So what are the other icons, Ken?
How did you get the?
Well,
On the bottom of this.
there, okay, let's just finish up with this. So my flash is on, right?
Yeah.
If I don't want to go back in there and do it, I just simply tap the camera app and it will turn my flash off. Okay?
I think it's easy remembering passcodes.
How did you increase the brightness?
If you have a 6S or newer, when you're on the flashlight, you press and hold. You have to have a 6S or newer because of the 3D touch.
Okay, just press the flashlight.
The other icons on the bottom, just briefly, is one is your timer, one's a calculator, and one's your camera. Okay? And then across the top is putting your phone in airplane mode, turn your Wi-Fi on or off, Bluetooth on or off. The do not disturb, the half moon sign, that doesn't mean it's an outhouse, okay? That's not an outside bathroom. It means do not disturb, which means you don't want any messages to come through, like if you go into somewhere. And then if you turn do not, I can't do it now. Actually, it might. If I turn do not disturb on, you'll notice the little half moon up in the top right next to my clock, to the right there. That's how you can tell you have do not disturb on. People will come to me, Ken, my phone never rings, I never hear my text messages. It's because you have do not disturb on. So you just slide up and turn it off. And the last one is locking your screen so that when it rotates, it doesn't rotate the screen. And most people, you don't want that. I mean, you want it to be able to rotate. Okay, so away from the phone.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Uh-oh. There we go. So everybody got that. That all came out from me having you guys take a picture of this with your iPhone. So I have, so we're talking about Siri and technology and dictation. How many here have Amazon Echoes? Okay, you like them? Pretty cool. I've got one here. I don't think this is connected to the internet though. What's the current time? It's not. So.
Not to say,
No, that's a tap.
why don't you ask Siri?
Well, I could, but I was not trying to demonstrate Siri.
Let me ask you, if you ask Siri, do you have to put your code in first?
No. Well, actually, you have an option in settings to say, let you access it or not. So if you go on the website, I have tons of Siri presentations. So this thing is, Amazon makes this thing called an Echo. It's a large one that has a wonderful speaker. It's powered and always connected to your internet. You can ask it things, you can play Jeopardy. But it has 7 beam-forming microphones. So you could be across the room and just say very softly the trigger word, which is There's chairs over here if you guys are interested, if you need them. And it will trigger it, and then it can do different things. I can ask it what time. I can ask it to play a certain song and things, but they're wonderful. They make this one. Did I do a second picture? Yeah, so they make 3 of them. They make the Amazon Echo. If you're an Amazon Prime member, it'll play all the music you want.
For $3.99.
Well, it'll play most of the music you want unless you want to pay. But if you have Amazon Prime, it plays a ton of music. There's certain things you have to, there's certain newer artists and stuff if you want to pay $3.99, which is $6 cheaper than Apple's. How many here are Amazon Prime members? Who here doesn't know about the Amazon Prime credit card? So, Amazon Prime credit card, I highly encourage it if you buy stuff from Amazon. It's $70, it's free, no yearly fee. It's a Chase card. You pay when you order it, you should be able to get $70. I don't know if that deal's still there, but I got $70 credit off Amazon. But everything you buy at Amazon, you get 5% cash back. Well, you get 5% Amazon credit to spend however you want. Now, to me, that's hugely worth it. If you ever decide to lessen your Amazon Prime account, you get 3% back, but you still get to keep the card, and that's 5%. It's an okay credit card for other places. Actually, speaking of that, I highly recommend you guys do what I do with credit cards is, any credit card I have, I take a little Sharpie, and I write on the card, and I actually pay my bill 10 days early because I want to have a 0 on my balance. I don't pay 10 days before it's due. I pay 10 days before the bill generates. So when the bill generates, I have a 0 balance. Because if you use less than 10% of your available credit, it ups your score a lot. But I write on my cards what discounts they do. Like my Citi card, this is 2% everywhere. My Fidelity card's 2% everywhere. And actually, speaking of a travel thing I did not too long ago, the Costco card, restaurants and travel, 3%. So I know I booked my travel with this and I get 3% back, okay? But the other thing you do is there are certain cards that give you protection on your rental cars. What you want to look for is credit card tune-up or NerdWallet or Best Cards, one of those places. Look for one that says it has primary coverage. If you use that credit card when you rent a car, be careful. A lot of the credit cards don't cover international rentals, but with domestic rentals, if they're listed as a card that gives you primary insurance coverage, if you're getting in an accident with a rental car, the credit card steps in as the first part of insurance. It doesn't even go to your insurance company. Because when credit cards say they cover you on rental cars, what they usually mean is usually your car insurance company will cover it just like your car, as long as you've rented less than 30 days. And then the credit card is supplemental, where in this case, the credit card's primary, so therefore you don't have a claim on your insurance policy. So it's important to look at that.
And which card does that?
Just go to the sites I just said, NerdWallet, credit card tune-up, and see there. Because they change all the time. I know the Sapphire Preferred, whatever it does. So this is the Amazon Tap. It won't listen to me. I have to press the button to do it. But the nice thing is it's got a battery in it, and it's Bluetooth. It becomes a Bluetooth speaker, so it's less money. And then this little one called the Dot, the Echo Dot. And the little Dot is $49 to $59. It has a fairly anemic speaker, but you can hook it into a bigger speaker if you want. But you can just set these little things anywhere. And I have one in my kitchen, and I get up in the morning, and I ask it to play different things. I can play Jeopardy on it and things like that. So
I ordered the battery pack for the Amazon Alexa, and I got straight from Mission Cables, which is $39 as compared to buying it on Amazon, which is $49.
So you got a battery for the Alexa, and how much was it?
$39.
Oh, that's good. That's for the Echo, the bigger one. Yeah.
And you can take it in your
And
garage.
well, that's why I like the Tap. I wish the Tap has a charging base you set it on, which is really cool. I wish they would enable it so it would become voice activated when it's on charging. The reason these aren't voice activated all the time, and the reason Siri wasn't a long time ago, is it's constantly listening, which takes a lot of battery power. So we should go ahead, Al.
reading last little bit about Apple potentially developing an Alexa-like device.
Yeah, I was using it the other day, and man, no. So, yeah, right. They always send new things to me, right? They wait till I buy the old thing, and then they come out with a new thing. Okay, that's taking one for the team. But actually, yeah, Apple's working on it too. And actually, the most recent rumor said that Phil Schiller, I think, said, well, yeah, it should have a screen on it or something. So you're going to find Apple is, because they want to leverage the strength of Siri, they're going to have the same thing, and it may fit into the whole home hub kind of thing. I have to say, the Alexa, if you have Hue lights or some other lights I'm going to show you, can tell it, hey, turn my lights on in the house, or turn the house lights off. Turn the thermostat up, turn the thermostat down, things like that. So Alexa is doing that in the whole HomeKit thing. You're going to see that's the big technology leap. I have a little bit on that later. So go ahead and take a break. Did you get your phone working on Zoom? Bring it, or magnifier, bring it up here. I'll take a look at it. Oh, got to quit my...